My cousin spent 3 years treating me like a cautionary tale. Then he made one mistake. He humiliated me at his company's gala, in front of the one person who could actually recognize genius. What happened next didn't just change my life. It destroyed his ego in the most expensive way possible. If you've ever been underestimated by someone who thought they were better than you, this story is going to be different. Stick around until the end because this revenge is the chef's kiss perfect. And hey, if you're enjoying this, hit that like button and subscribe. We're just getting started. My name is Jenna, and I want you to understand something right from the start. Failure tastes like metal in your mouth. It's sharp, bitter, and it never really goes away. For 3 years, I lived with that taste every single day. I had built something beautiful. Flow State, an AI-driven organizational app that could predict what you needed before you even knew you needed it. I'm talking genuinely revolutionary tech, the kind of clean, elegant code that should have made investors throw money at me. But should have doesn't pay the bills, does it? I ran out of funding 6 months before launch. The app died quietly, like a dream you wake up from and can't quite remember. Now I was a data analyst at Morrison & Clark, a massive, soul-crushing corporate firm where I spent my days running reports that no one actually read. The paycheck was steady, sure, but every morning when I buttoned up my bland corporate blouse, I felt like I was zipping myself into a body bag. I was alive, technically, but I wasn't living. And my cousin Ethan, he never let me forget it. Ethan was what you'd call a success story. Managing director at Westfield Capital, the biggest investment firm in the city. The kind of guy who wore watches that cost more than my car and talked about disrupting markets, like he was some kind of prophet. To our family, he was golden. To me, he was a constant walking reminder of everything I wasn't. But here's the thing about guys like Ethan. They don't just want to win. They need you to know you've lost. They need to see it in your eyes, taste it in the air. Make sure everyone else sees it too, which brings me to the night everything changed. Jenna, you're coming to the gala, Ethan had said 3 weeks earlier, standing in my aunt's kitchen during Sunday dinner. It wasn't a question. I don't think that's really my scene, I'd replied, already feeling the dread pooling in my stomach. Nonsense. It'll be good for you to see what real success looks like. Besides, I told the partners I support, creative types. It makes me look well-rounded. He'd smiled when he said it, but his eyes were cold. Clinical. So there I was, standing in the lobby of the Grandeur Ballroom on a Friday night in April, wearing a burgundy velvet dress I'd bought on credit and immediately regretted. The ballroom was obscene. All vaulted glass ceilings, crystal chandeliers the size of cars, and ice sculptures shaped like bulls and bears. The whole place smelled like money and champagne and the kind of cologne men wear when they need you to know they're important. Ethan found me immediately. He looked perfect, of course. Tailored tuxedo, hair gelled just right, that practiced smile that never quite reached his eyes. Jenna, there you are. He grabbed my elbow a little too tightly and steered me toward a cluster of men in expensive suits. Gentlemen, this is my cousin Jenna, the one I told you about. She tried to launch that little productivity app. You know, the one that went nowhere. Not Jenna the data analyst. Not Jenna who's brilliant with code. Just the one who failed. The men looked at me the way you'd look at a museum exhibit. Curious, but detached. One of them, Mr. Hawthorne, silver-haired and shark-eyed, gave me a tight smile that didn't move any other part of his face. Ah, yes. The tech graveyard. Brutal market, sweetie. Good thing you found something stable. Stay in analytics, it's safer, sweetie. Like I was a child who'd tried to build a treehouse and fell out. I felt my face flush hot, but I smiled. You learn to smile when you're the failure in the family. You smile and nod and pretend their pity doesn't cut you open. This happened 6 more times. 6 different introductions. 6 different variations of the same humiliation. Each time, Ethan's voice carried that same bright, cheerful cruelty, like he was telling a funny anecdote instead of publicly dissecting my biggest wound. By the time dinner was called, I was hollow, numb. And then I saw where I was sitting. Table 14, tucked in the corner by the kitchen doors, far from the main stage, far from anyone who mattered. Ethan and his wife, Diane, were at table 1, the head table, right next to the CEO and board members. I was surrounded by a nervous HR intern named Bethany and a junior analyst who kept checking his phone. This wasn't an oversight. This was a message. I sat down slowly, the velvet of my dress suddenly feeling heavy, suffocating. The string quartet was playing something elegant and forgettable. Waiters glided past with trays of food I couldn't taste. Everything felt distant, underwater, like I was watching my own humiliation from somewhere far away. I kept my eyes on my plate. If I looked up, I might cry. If I cried, Ethan would win completely. Then the speeches started. Ethan took the stage to thunderous applause. He looked like he belonged up there, confident, commanding every inch the golden boy. He talked about quarterly returns and strategic forecasting and market volatility. People nodded along, hypnotized by his competence. And then he pivoted. I felt it before he even started talking. That shift in energy when someone's about to throw a punch. You know, we live in a world full of dreamers, Ethan said, adjusting his tie with practiced ease. People who think passion is enough. People who believe a great idea is the same thing as a great business. He paused, scanning the room. His eyes landed on my corner just for a second. Just long enough, but here at Westfield we know the truth. Innovation isn't just creativity, it's execution. Value isn't just potential, it's profit. So to anyone out there with a brilliant idea but no results, to anyone who spent years on a little app with zero return on investment, I say this. Stop wasting everyone's time. True success isn't a dream. It's a signed check. The room erupted in laughter and applause. The sound crashed over me like a wave. I couldn't breathe. The tears I'd been holding back all night pressed against my eyes like a physical force. My hands were shaking in my lap. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to sink through the floor and never come back. I closed my eyes and thought, please God, just let me survive this without falling apart. When I opened them again, I looked up toward the head table. And that's when I saw her, Dr. Vivian Cole. She was sitting 3 seats from the CEO, impossible to miss. Sharp silver hair cut in a severe bob, a black suit so perfectly tailored it looked architectural, and an expression of absolute zero amusement. While everyone else was still chuckling at Ethan's cruelty, Dr. Cole was staring directly at me, not with pity. Not with curiosity, with recognition. Dr. Vivian Cole was a legend. CEO of Fusion Tech, one of Westfield's biggest competitors. She'd built her company from nothing, turned down acquisition offers from Google and Microsoft, and had a reputation for being brilliant, ruthless, and utterly unimpressed by corporate theatrics. And she was looking at me like she'd just found something interesting. The moment stretched. The applause around Ethan faded into background. Noise. Dr. Cole's expression didn't change. She just held my gaze with an intensity that felt almost physical. Then she pulled out her phone. I watched her type something, her fingers moving quickly across the screen. She looked at it, scrolled, looked back at me. Her expression shifted, just slightly, from curiosity to something sharper, more focused. When the cocktail hour resumed and people started moving again, I knew I had to leave. I stood up carefully, adjusting my dress, planning my escape route. I'd slip past the crowds, grab my coat and disappear before anyone noticed. I made it maybe 10 feet. Ethan. The voice cut through the ambient noise like a blade, clear, cold, authoritative. The crowd near the stage parted. Dr. Cole was standing there, all 5'6" of her somehow commanding the entire space. Ethan's face transformed, the smug confidence replaced instantly with something close to panic. Dr. Cole. Of course, what an honor. He practically shoved his colleagues aside, hand outstretched. She ignored it completely. I walked right past him, straight toward me, my heart stopped. The background noise of the gala faded to white static. She stopped about 3 feet away, and I could see her eyes up close, sharp, intelligent, completely focused. "Jenna," she said. Not a question. A statement? "Yes, ma'am," I managed. "I've been doing some research during that speech." Her voice was measured, but there was steel underneath. I looked up Flow State, the app that supposedly went nowhere. The crowd had gone completely silent. I could feel Ethan somewhere behind me listening. "It failed," I said quietly. I ran out of funding before launch. It failed, Dr. Cole corrected, her voice rising just slightly, to secure investment from people who couldn't recognize innovation if it knocked on their door with a business plan. But your user protocol, the way you integrated predictive AI into organizational workflow, was genuinely revolutionary. My breath caught. We've been trying to solve that exact problem at Fusion Tech for 8 months, she continued. Your code was the cleanest implementation I've seen in 5 years. Probably longer. She turned, finally to look at Ethan. His face had gone from confusion to something like horror. I'm not here for the champagne, Ethan. I'm here because I'm always looking for the very best talent. Then she turned back to me. Jenna. I'm offering you the position of Chief Innovation Architect at Fusion Tech. Effective Monday morning. The world tilted. I heard someone gasp. Maybe me. Dr. Cole wasn't finished. The budget for your department will be $1 million for the first quarter. Your starting compensation package will be more than double what your cousin currently earns as managing director. She said it loud enough for everyone to hear. The CEO, the board members, Ethan's boss, everyone. The silence was absolute. I looked at Ethan. His face had gone white, then red, then purple. His mouth opened and closed like a fish drowning in air. But Dr. Cole, she's just an analyst now. She's buried in debt from that failed app. His voice cracked on the last word. Dr. Cole turned on him with surgical precision. Ethan, your biggest weakness is that you only see what people have been, not what they're capable of becoming. You saw a debtor. I see a visionary who learned from failure. Your firm values quarterly earnings. My firm values genius. She handed me a business card. Heavy cardstock, simple black lettering. Don't worry about paperwork tonight, Jenna. You've earned a celebration. I'll expect you Monday at 9. She walked away, just like that, leaving a crater of stunned silence behind her. My mother appeared from somewhere, her face pale. Jenna, did you just— Yes, Mom, I heard myself say. Turns out my app that went nowhere was worth $1 million all along. I looked at Ethan one more time. He was standing there, frozen, his perfect mask completely shattered. For 3 years, he'd made me feel worthless. For 3 years, he'd used my failure to elevate himself, and in 3 minutes, the most powerful woman in tech had publicly declared that I was worth more than him. I didn't say anything else. I walked out of that ballroom with my head up, leaving my coat behind. I didn't need it. I was radiating warmth. That was 6 months ago. I've been at Fusion Tech ever since, and I'll be honest, it's the hardest I've ever worked in my life. But this time, I'm working for someone who sees the value in what I do. My department launched our first product last month. Early projections say it'll generate $15 million in revenue by year's end. Ethan, he's still at Westfield, still a managing director, but I heard from my aunt that he's been passed over for promotion twice now. Apparently, after that gala, people started asking questions about his judgment. I don't take pleasure in his struggles, but I won't pretend I don't remember how it felt to be humiliated in front of hundreds of people, to have my biggest wound turned into a punchline for his ego. Dr. Cole didn't save me out of pity. She saw something valuable that everyone else had dismissed, including me, and she was willing to bet $1 million on it. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying someone. It's about proving them wrong so completely that they have to live with the knowledge that they threw away something priceless. So that's my story. Never let anyone make you believe that failure defines you. Sometimes it's just the prologue to your greatest success. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about justice, revenge, and people getting exactly what they deserve. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever been underestimated? Let's talk about it. I'll see you in the next one.